I just invite everybody to make whatever they can of this entrance ritual, whether that's slowing and breathing down, whether that's thinking about yourself being strong or excellent. Neo, I'm talking to them now. And as each one of us enters the temple, you can be thinking, what do you want to make of this session? Do you want it to be exciting? Do you want it to be peaceful? Do you want it to be enlightening? I hope you feel welcome. I'm so happy that you're all here. As each one of you comes in, all right. So welcome everybody. It's great to have you all here. Just setting up the camera. There we go. All right, so we're going to start just by setting our intention. It's great to see some new faces and some old faces. My intention for running these sessions is I want all of us to have more empowerment. When you think about yourself, I want you to think that you can make new habits, you can make new feelings, you can transform yourself. Things that you've believed about yourself in the past, I want you to have the idea that, hey, that was just some program that was running in my head. I want you to be empowered that you can transform everything about you. That's ultimately why I run these sessions. I guess on top of that, I want you to be happier, feel more at ease, be better at everything you do, have more love in your life. Neo, can you play with Raya, please? Neo, play with Raya. So those of you who just came in, I've got to look after both the kids for the first few minutes today, so I hope that's entertaining for all of you. Out on the live stream, we've got Ed saying hi, Oliver saying hey everyone, hello Merck, hey everyone, nice to see you all, Ed saying welcome. Let me just show everyone here in the temple. Love hearts and waves to everyone. Excellent. All right. So as I was saying, my intention ultimately is to empower you to be the creator of all your thoughts and feelings and habits. If that sounds a little abstract or dry, what I mean by that is I want you to be able to create awesome happiness, peace, confidence every day. In everything you're doing, I want you to be the mind artist, the brain engineer of yourself. I want you to be spreading happiness and confidence and ease with the people around you. I want you to be making joy. How does that sound? We got some waves, some high fives, some awesome. Excellent. So going along with that theme of setting this intention, I hope that not just you creating happiness and joy, I hope you also will be able to handle any situation with ease and grace. And I hope you will be able to just move through life in a way that's a lot easier and more enjoyable. But more than just you, I run these sessions for us as a community. Like, I get to sit here and focus on peace and confidence, and it rubs off on me. And then hopefully whenever any of you see each other around VR chat or in any other VR thing or in the world, I hope our conversations will remind us of peace and empowerment. We're creating a more enlightening culture. And not just this group of people here in VR. My intention is that positivity, happiness rubs off from you to everyone around you, into your whole life. So, that's my intention. To really empower you to be the creator of your mind, then to make all kinds of happiness and confidence and excellence, and for that to then rub off on everyone in your life. So I hope that sounds great, and I hope you're setting a similar intention. Wow, it's wild how children can change so much. Some days she'll just sit in my lap happily in VR, and now I don't know what's going on. But I think that's an interesting topic to start on, that in each moment our minds can change so much. One day everything will be cool. Another day you might react differently to things. Some days things are really easy. Some days you're happy and fun. And when we just let the whims of what's around us or the whims of our mind push us around, it can just be this roller coaster. But as we practice more mindfulness, we can learn to be able to step out of whatever mood you're in and step back into a more stable, centered place. Does that sound like achievable and understandable, or did that sound abstract to people? If anyone thought, what on earth is he talking about? Well, you've meditated and learned a bunch about it, so I'm glad that it makes sense for you. Can I see a wave from anyone who's like, what's he talking about? So everybody has this sense of like, what is it like to have this place inside yourself or this state inside yourself that is peaceful and easygoing? Oh, dear Raya, can you play with Neo? Neo, take the headphones off and talk quietly with Raya, please. Invite her over. So, I'm sorry that this is how it's going down. Previously, when I've had to look after them, things were a lot more cool. All right, and Sonia's written on the chat, it sounds good, but it needs to be achievable. Excellent. So, I was chatting with a regular meditator this week, and I was talking about achieving enlightenment, and she was like, well, that's a good long-term goal. What about something more immediate? And it struck me that many people think of personal change as some thing that's going to take a long time, or that profound states of mind are they achievable? But what I really want to hammer home is that you can make wild changes to your mind and wild changes to your state very quickly. But an important part of that is to be able to envisage what it would be like. So, if you're imagining that change will be slow, then when you go to imagine what are you going to do in the next minute, you're going to just still be doing basically the same thing as you've always done. But if you're imagining, whoa, I'm watching my mind right now and I'm choosing to focus on peace, and wow, what if I imagine the most beautiful peace I could? Then as you focus on that, that will be what your creativity and your emotions create. So right now, I could take us into a meditation to show us peace. But actually what I want to try and do is to get each one of you to reflect and look at how much do you believe you can change your state of mind. And I want to encourage you to imagine, well, if I focus differently, I can do that wildly more than I used to think. Neo, please play with Raya.
Why did you get this off?
So you can play with Raya.
When are you going to be finished?
Mama will come soon. All right, so welcome to those of you who just walked in. I'm juggling the kids right now as well. Now, I wanted to go back to that question of, like, is deep peace achievable? Is changing our state of mind achievable? As you can hear from this little baby, if you are putting your focus on other stuff, then peace is not achievable. Right now, she's got a book she could read with her big brother. She's got a few other games to play. She could come and cuddle me, but she's focusing on her mum somewhere else. And I turned the sounds off on purpose because you've got to focus on Raya. And, a lot of times in life, our mind is like getting caught up in different things. I want this, or you're like following along with the kind of attitudes and feelings you've had a lot of your time. And learning to two parts. Learning to watch your mind and attention and just seeing what is it you're thinking, what feelings are you giving space to. That's wild, because a lot of people just have thoughts happening, have feelings happen to them, as opposed to stepping back and going, hey, what thoughts do I want to have? What feelings do I want to have? And I'm guessing a lot of you have heard that many, many times. And you're like, oh, maybe one day I'll have this like ability to step out. No. I don't want to waste your time. I want you to decide right now, it's achievable that I can step out of feelings and thoughts that aren't helpful. And I'm going to decide... I'm going to decide that from now on when I think about myself, I choose where I put my mind. I know that thoughts or feelings don't just happen to me. I'm doing them with habits of attention. And from now on, I prioritize where I put my attention. Neo, could you please play with Raya?
Come to me.
No, but don't look at the tablet until you've got her calm and peaceful with you. Oh, you can come show her here next to me, Neo. There we go.
So, I made
But you could just be quiet, buddy. Oh, can you guys see me? Looks like my headset just died.
Why?
Hello. Okay, you guys can see me, but I can't hear you or see you.
I can't hear you.
My headset's getting old. They might be able to hear me, but I can't hear them.
Why the headset might...
I think it got bumped.
I think it got bumped.
Guys, I'll be right back in just a second. What can I do? All right. You got me again? Hey, thanks for your patience. Some people out there on the live stream were saying hi. Will, it's great to have you here.
Why did you change out?
But yeah, so what was I saying? There's two parts. One is noticing that your attention does things. And noticing that you put your attention into thoughts or feelings. And then the other is like deciding or envisaging how you would choose to be. Will on the live stream, he just wrote that he is focusing on peace. And I'm pretty certain anytime he focuses on peace, that he gets to feel a lot more peace. And to go back to Sonia's question before, it sounds good, but is it achievable? Some of you have experienced in meditation, maybe you're having an intense day or just a regular day, but then in meditation, you got into this feeling of peace and calm. Can I see a nod or a yes or hear that? Yeah, you've had that experience.
Hi, can I play with your toy? How'd you get your
So, danke, Mama. So the fact that we can get into peace, I want everyone to be thinking, well, what if I decided that I'll just keep going back into that peace? It's achievable. If you spend a lot of time getting caught up in like concerns or worries, and then you elevate all of them, and then you have to bring yourself back into the peace, and we're just living on our old habits of mind and emotion, and you come back into the peace, that's achievable. But even better would be like, what if I prioritize creating a good state of mind, a good emotional state? And so, just every few breaths, just remember the deep peace. Life goes on, you're having a good time. A few more breaths, come back into peace. And you might be like, well, I'm busy. How am I going to do that? If you decide that just every now and then, as soon as there's a little bit of time, I have a peaceful breath, you can make that part of how you are. And as you feel that more, it becomes more natural. And the peace that you make feels even bigger and better, and it like lasts for longer after each intentionally peaceful breath. So I'm trying to make it like be felt strongly. I'm trying to make it that you decide. You can choose, hey, I'm going to prioritize peace. I'm going to envisage myself as someone who is mindful. I'm going to envisage myself as someone who has peace. I'm going to give this the best possible chance I can. Imagine that it's awesomely working. Your consciousness is going to practice what you envisage. If you imagine it's a awesome, beautiful process, you're going to have awesome, beautiful changes. If you imagine it's going to be pretty good, then you have pretty good changes. I want you to be the master of your mind. Imagine stepping into beautiful peace. Imagine that as the more you do that, the better it will feel. Remember that when intense things are happening, they come and go. The peace will come back. And so you train yourself to be peaceful all the way through those things. So I'm going to read some things on the chat here. Oh, and Diru, could you mute? There's like big audio spikes keep coming through. Thanks. So Hello Merck has said, as we learn to calm and relax the inner child, we learn how to see true and deep peace. Yes. And at the same time, Helen Merck also says, I want to let you know that my cat is trying to cuddle the phone. To make my little ones feel better. They've gone now. I would have loved to tell them that a cat was sending them cuddles. Thank you, Helen Merck. All right. Well, with that, I'm now going to guide a meditation on mindfulness and peace. And I want you to remember the context in which I said it. I hope within a minute or two, we're going to have some relaxation in our body, some beautiful calm in our mind. And I hope that you experience, hey, this is something I could keep carrying with me, something I could keep growing, something I can train into myself in every moment. So with that said, let's begin our meditation. So I'm currently sitting on the floor. I've found it's much better when meditating to either sit on a cushion or a chair. Or sitting on the knees can also be really good. So wherever you're sitting, I just invite you to check in with your posture. Having a comfortable position can be really good to just let the body relax and to let the mind be able to be in its own space. All right. And then I checked in with my hips and I felt my spine and I noticed I wasn't sitting up as nicely as I could, so I've pulled my shoulders up and back, and I invite you to do the same thing. Just move your back around. And then as I notice my ribs and I'm moving my hips and my chest around, then that makes me notice my breath. And then I close my eyes so I could concentrate on the breath. I invite you to do the same thing. Take a few deep breaths. And if you've meditated a lot, maybe you notice that focusing on the breath straight away brings some peace to your body and your mind. If you're new to meditation, I just invite you to really feel the lungs expanding and letting go, and let each breath feel more flowing, more easy. And as we put the attention in the breath, that can give our inner voice a rest, give our emotions and our mind a rest. Just feeling the flow of the breath. And we'll finish off the body scan. So we did a check-in with our legs and our hips and our torso and our hip and our lungs. Feel your shoulders and your arms. And then feel your neck and your head. And then notice across the whole of your body, have you created some peace or some calm? And let yourself just enjoy that peace and calm. And imagine if you infused every breath with an even deeper sense of calm and peace. And as I'm quiet for longer, an untrained mind might start thinking of other things. But as we decide that we're going to really focus and go deeper into meditation, then much more wonderful things become achievable. So I tell you to breathe peaceful breaths. You can take a couple, that's nice. And if then your attention goes to other things, well, there's a few peaceful breaths. But if you just decide to keep going deeper, feel even more beautiful inner peace, or the idea that each breath brings us into peace. As you just keep feeling that more and more and more with every breath, that's where the transformation goes really deep into you. It becomes part of how you think and feel. You train it so that the breath automatically feels this deep peace. So as we just keep taking deep, peaceful breaths, feeling peace in the body, in the emotions, in the mind, imagine yourself just deeply having peace available anytime you intentionally take a peaceful breath. I invite you just to keep feeling the breath, feeling peace, experiencing yourself as someone who has peace as part of you. If your mind wanders to other things, you could just come back to feel the breath more and be peace more. Or maybe you could imagine that part of you also becoming ease, becoming peace. Doing this inner work of creating the peace and training it through to every part of you, making this peace achievable. You may find yourself letting go of things that aren't important, or feelings or attitudes that don't serve you. When you notice them, just turn them into peace. Peace and presence. Imagine what you would be like, how you'd be like, if you move through each moment, just connected to this peace and awareness inside you. Each moment you imagine that, you become that. The more clearly you imagine yourself moving through life with peace and calm, the more clearly you imagine it, the more powerfully you become it. The more clearly you envisage it, the more completely you become it. That's actually really enlightening. Give yourself permission to imagine how you'd really like to be. And not just to think of that, but to actually imagine it. Give yourself permission to feel how you'd really like to feel. Give yourself time to rehearse, to internalize, to become the states of mind that you choose. When you're ready, you can come out of the meditation as you'd like. I'm feeling empowered and peaceful. So as I stretch and move my body, I'm letting myself feel refreshed and empowered and peaceful. I just invite you to come out of the meditation however you wish. So that was about a 15-minute meditation. And I think we could all find 15 minutes a day. That meditation was especially strong for me in the last half. I remembered that suggestion I had given of imagine it being great. Don't waste your time. Just decide to rehearse how you really want to be. And just remembering that, I then imagined this meditation being so much more powerful, a deeper, easier, more profound change. And as I breathed into that, I could feel more beautiful states of possibility. So I hope the meditation was interesting, useful, and nice for you. Hello Merck's just written in the chat. Been having some identity issues recently, so the timing of this session is interesting. Love to hear more if you're happy to share. Would anyone like to share something from their meditation, or would anyone like to ask any questions or start some conversation around the topics? I love what you just said. And yes, truly, if everyone was giving themselves this peace, I mean, imagine how nice it would be wherever you went. I've seen you pretty much just summed up my mission in life. Yeah, absolutely. Oh. Right now during the meditation, or just in general, that's been what's going on? It's wild how the environment can affect us so much. And Sigma, if you ever see that neighbor, I hope you can give them a deep breath or a smile and hopefully rub off on them. Yeah. Oh, so Hello Merck responded, basically they've noticed that they've never been anything other than what people wanted them to be, and never was truly themselves. So it kind of goes in line a lot with today's focus of looking at who you truly want to be. So I'm not even sure if I know what our self is. Like what we want kind of changes throughout our lives. But I think if you take some time to ask, like, how do I want to be? It might not be like the true self. Like maybe a week from now you might decide you want more peace or more excitement, but yeah, spending some time to ask what you want to cultivate, I think is definitely a more wonderful direction than just being pushed around by who's around, what's around, the experiences we've had. So Kunkel, you came in just as we were finishing the meditation, and the theme for tonight was very much you embracing that you get to choose what you believe about yourself. You get to choose what you practice, what you tell yourself. And then we had a very deep peace meditation where we were feeling peace and rehearsing peace being part of us. And I do peace, like we could have been doing a confidence meditation or a compassion meditation, but I like peace because it's like this foundation of calm. Like whatever's going on in your life, if you can just always take a peaceful breath and step back into calm, it's like a launch pad. That if you then choose, hey, right now I've got to be confident, or right now I've got to be loving, or right now I need to be a leader. Calm or stillness, it's like freedom that you can then think or feel whatever you choose. So that's why we made peace this point of awareness. Ah, wonderful. Yeah, that's the reason we do the videos, is so that people can go and re-experience the meditations. Before the meditation, my kids were in here, and for some reason they were extra rowdy today. And so I was talking about how their attention does different things that's not necessarily helpful. And as adults, we can also have our attention unskillfully moving around. So when we see unskillful movements of our mind or our feelings, if we're able to just like step out of that and be like, okay, well, what would I choose? What would a more mature version of me be like? What would an enlightened version of me do? So we like step into our wiser self, and we can then practice that wiser self. Welcome, Quill. And welcome to whoever it was that just joined out on the live stream. I can see everyone here in the temple. It's great to be here with you. And I can't see those of you out on the live stream, so please say hi. Please ask a question. Send a smiling emoji. Be great to feel who's here with us. Thanks, Kitsigu. So Sigma, I loved what you're saying about bringing these tools to everybody. And yes, we could hope that schools start teaching it. And I've seen some schools having meditation programs. And yes, we hope that some celebrities will talk about it. But I think it's also really up to us. We can rub off on people around us. We can give them peaceful moments. We can say kind things. They can feel our vibe that we've created. And if you also get a chance to share with someone, hey, I learned in 10 minutes how to just make myself feel really peaceful. Like that kind of idea, when it takes hold in someone, can open up whole new possibilities for them. Maybe they'll even ask you to guide a meditation for them or to play this video for them. And the more people actually see the skills, the more they have the skills. Awesome. Wonderful. I often say in these classes that, as far as I'm concerned, meditation means anything we do with our focus. And some people will tell you that breathing and stilling the mind, that's real meditation. Or other people will tell you different practices is what real meditation is. I've been in all these different movements, and I've seen that the different practices have different results. So what I generally encourage people to do is find the most effective way of breathing meditation and practice that. But also learn compassion meditation, and also get really good at visualizing things, and also try laughter meditation. Just have these different tools in your mind. If you think of, if someone told you, oh, music is an enriching thing that you should have in your life, and then you only ever listen to flute music. You know, if you haven't gone and tried a bunch of styles and danced to a whole bunch of styles and learned to enjoy the different styles from the people who enjoy them, then you really haven't experienced music. And I'd say meditation's the same. There's wildly different styles, and you can have a whole array of meditations that are good for different experiences. I also want to say that I've seen as we meditate, it's very easy to just take on whatever we put our attention to. And so then I've seen people meditating on things that seem very unhelpful or contradict evidence or truth. So while I encourage people to go and try different meditations and learn different styles, I also encourage you to not be so open-minded that your brain falls out. Be open-minded and explore, but keep your rationality mind on. Keep your compassionate mind on. Keep your effectiveness mind on. And try to see all these different styles, but check in and make sure that you're practicing things that keep you effective and helpful. So Ed just shared that in the meditation he was having some other thought, but he reinforced the meditation and helped refocus himself. So you might have noticed that today I had more silence than I often do. And as I was saying, that can take it deeper. But it can also be great for you learning how to refocus. You learning to be more empowered in what your consciousness does. All right. Crocheting a long scarf says hi, everyone. Is that you? Is that you, Happy? Can't really see, but happy to have you here. Yeah. Cool. All right, we've got even more people out there on the live stream. So good to have you here. We have been talking about being aware of what we do with our attention, and what... Actually, I want to say a little more clearly. I've said it a bunch of times today, but I want to try and emphasize it. I think it's probably obvious to all of us that you can move your attention to over there, or to your toes, or to your nose. And when you've meditated a little bit, you can see that a thought catches your attention, or you can see that you can let a thought calm down, and you can come back to hearing your breath. Lauren, it's great to have you here. So attention can move around physically. It can also move from one thought to another thought. And that can be really powerful. Like if you start to have some reaction to something and you decide to stop and think about it in a different way, it can really change how you approach a situation. Or you might notice you keep talking about yourself in a certain way, and you decide to say something else. Like instead of, oh, I'm no good at that, you'd be like, oh, I'm learning to be better at that. and I'm getting better at that. Or just start changing how we talk to ourselves can really change how we feel, and even how good we are at things can improve in some ways. But I wanted to say that our attention not only can move from place to place or from idea to idea, but it can also change in our feelings. You can put your attention on peace. If you hold it there for a little while, you'll be feeling calm in the body or peace in your feelings. And I've been saying, like, giving different emotions our attention. And some people believe emotions can just happen to you. But as you meditate and watch, you can see that an emotion like catches your attention. But if you let that go and you put your attention into peace or into confidence or into power, you can actually move your attention into different feelings, and it will change how you feel. And so when I'm talking about mastering your consciousness, mastering your mind, I really mean like every part of you crafting the feelings you put your attention into, you crafting the attitudes that you put your attention into, you crafting the way that you speak to others. And if you think about it, like that's everything. Like if you are moving through your life with wise words, wonderful feelings, then you are shaping a beautiful life. I'd love to hear people's thoughts. Yeah. It reminds me of what I was saying before about how we did stillness as like this foundation. If you can always come back into still, like it's like a blank canvas that you can then paint on, or it's a solid foundation for a building that you can build up on. So perhaps he was talking about something similar. You know, if you build a building and like it's on quickstand, or if it's on mud, or if you haven't actually built really solid foundations, things are just going to like rock around. Whereas if you have really envisaged that I deeply know what I put my attention on, and I have crafted this deep stillness and empowerment inside myself, that's like this base that you can then build up greater compassion, peace that can handle any situation. Whatever it is you're building in your life, if you build it on top of this foundation of awareness and confidence, that just you can build much bigger buildings. You can create much more beautiful paintings. You can craft more beautiful states of mind. You can shape a more wonderful life. Anyone out there on the live stream have any questions? Or anyone here in the temple? It's a great question. So smells can trigger memories, absolutely. And I'm thinking about how to answer, not just about meditation, but about anything. So if you've had a really happy time, and maybe there was always frangipani flowers, then I'm pretty sure the next time you smell frangipani flowers, you'll be taken back to that feeling of happiness. Or I know there was a certain fruit that I was first shared with while I was in love. And that fruit just always tastes like love for me. It takes me back there. And it's not just smells and tastes. Different environments can trigger things in us. Different rituals can trigger things in us. So yes, I absolutely think there are many things that can bring you into meditation. My one concern about saying that is there are some people or some movements where you must light the incense. This is the ritual that is meditation. We should never put the rituals first. Learning how to meditate and make peace in ourselves, you should be able to do that when there's wild things going around you. You should be able to do that in any situation. If you have some nice music you play, or some beautiful smell, or a physical ritual that you do to get started, or a certain place you sit and meditate, and these things can help your meditation, beautiful. But I want to say the foundation is your mind, it's your consciousness. That's always what meditation should be about. Thanks for the nice question. Would anyone else like to ask or share something? Well, sounds good. Yeah, I think we need a lot more movies and documentaries and songs that help inspire people and focus them on clarifying their intention and making great feelings. So yeah, if you can remember what it was, we'd love to hear it. It was more like 15 years ago, but there was 2 films that came out. One was called The Secret, and one was called What the Bleep Do We Know? And they were both kind of documentaries about how we can transform as I was saying before, meditation and spiritual things, people can put in a lot of pseudoscience or just unreal beliefs. And both of those documentaries had some things that I wouldn't put my stamp of approval on, but they also had a lot of stuff that was great about focusing and setting our intention and about being able to meditate and shift our state. Yeah. So, you were talking about having these tools in society that people can learn. It's always an interesting question for me, is that there are great tools and tips and life advice sprinkled everywhere in amongst a bunch of less helpful ways of being. And so as a society, how do we help make those really great gems stand out even when they're embedded in a bunch of stuff that's not so good? Maybe artificial intelligence will help us break down films and be like, oh, these scenes are the ones that are great, and be careful not to take on the emotion from that scene. Or maybe they'll be able to sweep through philosophical and cultural works and just really highlight the best bits and then point out the fallacies so that we can learn the best bits and share the best bits without passing on the baggage. It's pretty wild, isn't it? Which AI platform do you use? Yeah, it's great. Oh, and then you read it, or did you have a way to listen to it? Oh, are you paying for it, or do they have the free one can now talk to you? Yeah. Mm. There's a really good free app called Pi.ai, and it's the most friendly AI that I've found of all of them. And you can also just push conversation, and you talk to it and it talks back, and that's free. And I'll often ask it for bedtime stories with me and the kids, or for meditations to sleep to, and which is really good because you can ask for it a meditative story, and then if you're still awake at the end, you'd be like, tell another story that's even more sleepy and more meditative. Yeah, it's so as well as. Mhm. So there's some really great techniques for getting to sleep, as well as meditative AI assisted things. Um, so some things I'd really recommend that you try are body scan meditations. They can really relax your body, and it also calms down your mind and your feelings. And then there's another one called progressive muscle relaxation, where you tense up parts of your body and relax. And so you're just learning to really let go, and it like trains you off deeper and deeper to sleep. I have one of those on my SoundCloud if you wanted to search for Fraser Kirkman deep relaxation. But there's a lot online: guided sleep hypnosis, guided relaxation meditations, progressive muscle relaxations. As I said, some of them will just throw in some untrue things. So I'd be a little cautious which ones you listen to. Yeah. But there's some really good ones. And the AIs have these like ethical foundations that programmers have put in. So if you ask them for a meditation, they're generally very careful to just give you the stuff that actually is true and helpful. You'll focus on your breath. You'll make the relaxation. But yeah, I hope you check out all of mine, and I've been very careful too. So I'd love to hear your feedback. Yeah, cool. All right. I'd love to ask about my original theme, which was, let's go back up. What did Sonia say? It sounds good, but can we make it achievable? Can we actually learn to have peace and calm as part of how we are? So what I said before was like you envisaging what that would be like, imagining yourself as the person who keeps coming into calm. If you think about, hey, what am I actually feeding into my mind? Do I imagine this is going to be like hard work? Or do I imagine that what I train is what I get, and so I'll train beautiful things? Or do I imagine that with a little bit of hesitation and unsureness? So I invite you to try to imagine, I'm going to train myself with ease and beauty and confidence, and that's what I'm going to get. I invite you to think about yourself. When you think about your mind, when you think about your feelings, I choose what to practice, and I practice beautiful things. And I do that as much as is needed to get beautiful results. Every moment of our life, all we really have is your state of mind in that moment. So, prioritizing and making it precious to be making beautiful states of mind, being careful with your attention as often, as powerfully as you can. Please prioritize it. Please make shaping your mind, watching your attention, the most important thing. And maybe that might mean you slow down a little bit with some things, but that's okay. You probably let go of the less important things. And then as you get more beautiful states of mind and more effective ways of being, then you'll be taking your life in directions that are better, more harmonious, more creative, more brilliant. Maybe you'll have some people around who are like angsty or bad vibes, and your reaction or way of interacting with them also kind of disturbed your peace. So I'm inviting you to make your peace really important. It's your priority. So if there's someone around who's like not in states of mind that are helpful for you, I encourage you to find like, how would your peaceful self choose to respond? How would you talk to them in a way that keeps you in a great state, or maybe even brings them into a great state? Put your enlightenment above everything else. Just keep putting your focus on your wonderful state of mind, your wonderful way of focusing and thinking and feeling. That should just be running on autopilot. You know, when you were a little kid and you'd fall over all the time and you hadn't learned how to walk yet, you learned how to walk, you learned how to balance. So much so that it then just happens all the time. And I encourage you to set a same kind of priority, like, hey, I'm going to train my inner self for this awareness and this strength. Just like learning the core muscles in our body so we can walk and we can sit and we can dance. I'm going to prioritize the same thing in my own consciousness. My core muscles, I'm aware of where my attention goes. I hold my body in a way that feels peaceful. I hold my mind and my feelings in a way that feels great. Wow. We've got a lot more people out on the live stream right now. It's so good to have all of you here. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you're out there, I'd love you to say hi, send an emoji, ask a question. Love to know who's here with us. Or anyone here in the temple, have something you'd like to share or ask? So this is how it is. If you guys have something you want to ask about in your life, some way you'd like to apply this meditation to help you, great, we'll engage with it. Some question about meditation, we'll do it. And if no one has any topic for more conversation, we're going to move to our closing meditation soon. So, please make the most of being here. Share something, ask something, make this helpful for you. I'm ready to respond, to uplift, to help in whichever you ask about. Anyone? Anyone? It's a great question. So I'll go back to basically the same advice I give everywhere is imagine how that would be. Mentally rehearse, someone's losing it, how would I respond? Train yourself with how you'd like to do it. Basically, whatever other advice I'd give you is just setting you up that you will then go and imagine how you're going to do it. So ultimately, it all leads to you envisaging how you're going to react. I could give you the perfect way of responding, and if that's just words in your head, the next time someone's losing it around you, your other habits are going to kick in. So you envisaging them being like that and feeling how you want to respond and rehearsing how you want to talk, practicing the attitudes in response, that is the ultimate for basically any situation. You training yourself. And if you ask yourself, hey, what would be an awesome way of responding to that situation or an awesome way of responding to any situation, you're going to come up with something great, probably better than what I can put into words. So always, I encourage everybody, imagine how you would love to respond and spend some time feeling that. Spend some time practicing it. But then some other responses to your question is you could ask yourself what's going on for them right now. You could ask yourself if I was acting like that, how would I like someone to treat me? You could ask yourself, what kind of feeling or comment could I share here that would connect them to that foundation? Well, I was thinking one step before that, like what would bring them into peace, what would calm them down a bit, and then what would get to a positive outcome. But yeah, maybe just asking yourself what would make an amazing output here. You'll come up with some great thing. Like, we're talking about ChatGPT or the other AIs. You ask them an interesting question, they give a good answer. Same with your mind. You see someone freaking out, you could either just react with whatever your old habits were, or you can step into your awesomeness. Ask yourself, what will create a great outcome? What would be a caring thing to do? What would be a why? Whatever you ask yourself, your brilliant internal supercomputer is going to give you good ways to be. So yeah, being able to step back into that stillness and ask yourself awesome questions and then follow through with what your creativity gives you. Well, I think the reason the drill sergeant comes out and shouts in your face is actually directly about what you just said, Sigma. You can practice your peace, but unless you've practiced being peaceful when something's in your face, you might not necessarily have that ability to react. So, if you find that you have people losing their shit around you, I would meditate on it. When someone's losing their shit, I become peaceful. And actually train it. Not just sitting in a temple where there's the sweet flute music and the leaves floating. I'm peaceful then. Practice when someone's losing their shit. Then I find my peace and my power. You envisage that 100 times, and that'll be the reaction that comes out next time someone's acting like that around you. So, like I said, this is really my answer all the time. Train yourself. Treat yourself like something that can be trained. Visualize, rehearse how you want to be. Yeah. Yeah, I found in almost any situation, just responding a little bit slower and connecting with kindness is almost always a pretty good fallback. Yeah. Hallow Merck just shared that they're still here, just listening in while lightly meditating. That's so good to hear, Hallow Merck. For those of you who just joined us, our meditation today was a lot of silence and stillness. We did a body scan and we felt ourselves become calm. And then we spent a lot of time where I was just feel yourself learning calm. Feel your mind becoming calm. Feel your attention becoming calm. And we spent time practicing it. I was quiet for, 5 or 10 minutes, maybe less. For those people who meditate a lot, that's not very long. But for someone who doesn't meditate much, 5 minutes of just focusing on peace, that's huge. So, like I was saying just then, about training how you want to respond when someone's losing their shit, or any kind of transformation, spending some minutes on it to really feel it and rehearse how you're going to move and rehearse like connecting with your foundation in different situations. Brain training is like, it's a thing we do every day, and it's minutes of time, but really minutes is nothing out of your whole day, and it's so worth it. So I want to inspire every one of you to feel like every day you give yourself some time. And when we're busy, like a few minutes might seem like a long time while you've got stuff to do, but it's always worth it. Give yourself a few minutes to just really feel what you're training with yourself and what's important. So Hello Merck, thanks for sharing. Sigma? One thing I'd say that could be helpful with that is when we're doing sitting, breathing meditation, we actually want our mind to become more conscious, more awake. Everything could stop. All your thoughts could become still. But our consciousness is like super present. Come in, welcome. But if you compare that with what you were just saying, it's a kind of meditation where you want your consciousness to also relax and go to sleep. So I'd encourage you to just have like two ideas. I can do deep relaxation, sleepy meditation, which is a different practice to when I'm super watching my mind. Yeah, letting everything be still, but I'm still super conscious. And having them as two separate tools that you keep separate in your mind is really helpful. All right. It's almost time for our closing meditation. Any last questions or thoughts? Any of you out there on the live stream? So I try to take the approach here that I only teach what I can be sure of. Things that I have evidence for. And so things I can be sure of is that if you tell yourself enough that you're going to have interesting, amazing dreams, you'll probably have more of them. If you tell yourself you're going to remember your dreams more, you'll probably have more of them. If you start thinking, whoa, I'm seeing the patterns in my dreams and my life, you'll probably start noticing patterns. I'm not saying at all whether that's like true or accurate. It's just our brain will start to notice it because we've told ourselves. And so I would suggest like calm that thought down. And I like to think about dreams as like it's my mind having a rest. Maybe sometimes I'll have something inspiring or funny that makes me feel good or gives me insight. But that's it. I don't want to believe anything else about dreams. I've tried a bunch of stuff, dream practices. But yeah, the only thing I can be really sure of is that when we sleep, our mind does that thing sometimes. And so if it can be helpful for me, great. And if not, I just let it be. So yeah, there have been lots of cases of people who were having delusional thoughts, or some people called it delusional, and then through mindfulness and careful rationality, they were able to retrain their mind back into just seeing things in a way that was practical and helpful. And I wish the same for you. Well, as I said, I tried to see which things I could get that was useful. And if I told myself a lot that I'd remember lots of dreams, I'd remember more. If I imagined that I would have adventure dreams, I'd have more adventure dreams. But like, is that really useful? I don't know. One thing I've seen is useful is people imagining that they meditate in their dreams and that they get into really beautiful states in their dreams. So you get extra meditation time. Yeah. Maybe tonight. Yeah. Mm. And as well as our dreams, it actually happens in ourselves. You know, if you tell yourself you're going to have meditation dreams, maybe you're more likely to have it. But if you keep thinking about meditation, you're probably going to find yourself more motivated to sit down and meditate tomorrow. Or when some people are talking about some meditation event, you're probably more likely to be like, oh yeah, I'm going to go to that. And so the thoughts that we give ourselves, you can very clearly see that they impact your dreams quickly if you're doing dream work. And I think that's also an insight for life. Like, the kind of thoughts and feelings you feed to yourself, that'll shape what you then think about next, and the feelings you have next, and the activities that you do. So I actually think that's an incentive to be really careful. Like, what kind of things do we want to think about? Let's try to make all our thoughts and all our feelings on a successful life, a caring, compassionate life, a better world, awesome communities. Put your focus on stuff that's great, because what you think about, some of it will have this tendency to actually impact you and your life. All right, I think that's a good moment to do our closing meditation. All right, let's start by just checking in with our body. Where are you sitting? What's your posture? Wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, wiggle your arms, wiggle your legs. And then now I'm wiggling my arms and my legs and my fingers and my toes and my spine and the muscles around my spine. Okay, and then from that, you're going to then let it start to slow down and settle, but let your posture settle in a way that feels good, sitting up straight, dignified, empowered. Take a really deep breath. Feel your neck. Feel your head. Feel your nose. Feel the breath coming in. Notice how in each moment your attention moves. Subtle little changes. It can change massively. A minute ago, we were talking about things, thinking about other stuff. And then you felt your body, and then you felt your nose. Your attention can move so much. And so as you bring your attention into your nose and just feel the breath, we're going to watch our attention in each moment. Mastering watching our attention can wildly improve how we feel and how we act in every situation. Hold your attention in that spot in your nose. Watch each moment of the breath, always changing, always new. not only are we careful with our thoughts and our attention, but we learn to see the results of our thoughts and attention. And we learn to intentionally choose our thoughts and attention, to practice peace, to practice how we want to be in different situations, to build that foundation of stillness in ourselves. As much as you possibly can right now, imagine that you believed you could always step into this stillness. And I encourage you to be aware of your attention in every moment. I encourage you to give yourself minutes each day where you practice really seeing your attention and really shaping stillness, peace, the reactions you want to have, the ways you want to live. Practice how you want to talk to yourself. Practice the kinds of friendships and interactions you want to shape around you. And for the last minute of this meditation, I just invite you to internalize or to affirm any insights you had today. And then as we're coming out of the meditation, I just want to thank you all for being here. Thanks for the gift that it gives to me, putting my attention on my best self. And I hope that you've also given yourself that gift during this time. And that the goodness you've cultivated, that you'll keep cultivating it. You'll give it time every day. And it will rub off on people around you. Maybe just from your different presence. Or maybe from conversations or practices you share with people. Thank you so much, everyone. It's possible that I won't be available at this time anymore. So we may be needing to change the schedule. We may also play with some different platforms, different worlds, or even different VR applications. So stay tuned, everyone. I hope everyone knows my YouTube channel. Whatever's happening, you'll see there. Links to whatever platforms we'll be using. Thank you again, everybody, for coming. Those of you who are here in the temple, I invite you to stay. Some people just arrived, and I know that some of them could really use some of the peace and insights that we shared. So I invite you all to practice sharing the wisdom you've learned, caring for one another as we express insights that we've learned. Putting them into words makes them even stronger inside of us. They're just sharing the people on the live stream. Oliver says thank you. Hello Merck says thank you for the gift that I gave to everyone. Ed shared a love heart for everybody. Lauren said thanks for the live stream. It's a nice gift. Ed said thanks for the meditation, and at least thinks that the community will adjust as necessary as we change the schedule and maybe the venues and the community that we use. All right, well, I'm going to stop the live stream. Thank you all so much for being here, and